The first person to know Bishop was my mom, because they used to come for fellowship in our home. Every Thursday, people used to go around for fellowships. So they also used to visit our house to come for fellowship. So there is one thing that mom told me that touched her. Every time the Christians used to come to our place for fellowship, Bishop Joel Waweru, that time he was at Church Army as a student. And at one point, Bishop felt, no, we are going to visit the house of a widow. And this widow has young children. And we can see her suffering raising up these young children. Because when my dad passed on, he left me with me and my three sisters. I have Pamela, Lillian, and Mary. So that left the four of us. So I'm the only son to my mom, called Salome. So when dad passed on, life was not easy, and that is the Christians really walked together with us. So if there is something that touched the bishop, that time when they used to come to our home for fellowship, is to see, he used to see us running up as young children, and maybe they could see, these people, they don't have food and what have you. So he said, every time we visit Mama Okapisi for fellowship, we have to make sure that at least we take some unga, we take some milk, some bread, and we used to treasure that. As children growing up, every time we hear now they are coming for fellowship, we are, God, Mom, today we shall have milk and shall have bread, children. So the first person to know Bishop was my dear mom, Salome, who was also actively involved in serving the Lord in the church. As a widow, she was also in charge of the widows ministry. And later, she was licensed as a lay reader, serving at the cathedral. So I can say it is mom who first knew the bishop, and then later as we grew up, now we also started interacting with the bishop. Yes, with the bishop has been good. A person that I have known when I was young. And by the way, I did not say, it is also the bishop who preached to my mother. My mother used to love church, used to preach, but she was not born again. But it is the bishop who preached one day, and the message, I can't remember, but the message cut across mom's heart. And mom just went and said, I want to give my life to Jesus. So I can say it is this bishop, Bishop Joel Waweru, who preached to my mom, and my mom gave her life to Jesus. Yeah, so that's one thing that I want to remember about the bishop. And then for me working here, Bishop has taught me a lot. Bishop has taught me to be a humble person in the ministry and to be truthful in whatever I do. That is what I have learned from the bishop. If there is something that the bishop does not love, is somebody who lies. Bishop does not love that. Yeah, bishop, somebody who lies with bishop. So bishop wants somebody who is truthful. So I have learned to be humble for the time that we have served together. I have learned to be a prayerful person, especially when it comes to preparing sermons. Because I will tell you, Jacqueline, in this office, when bishop is preparing sermons, I literally tell my staff here to leave the bishop alone. And he locks himself in his office and just take time to pray and to prepare his sermons. And I believe you've heard his sermons, how he preaches. You can definitely say that the bishop prepares well. For me, it is in this office. Every time we pray with the bishop, what I remember is that we literally go on our knees. We kneel down and we hold our hands and we pray. And not only in his office, he has also come here several times telling me, AS, please, time to pray. Come from my desk, come down here, and we kneel down and we hold. To me, that one has been very, very humbling, that my bishop goes on his knees and I go on my knees and we hold hands and we pray together. That is something that I will never, never forget. Sometimes we crack jokes with the bishop, we hug each other, we hold hands as we walk together. So we have coordinated very well. Yes, that attachment is what I'm going to miss.